All right. Good morning. Welcome to the regional rally. Charles, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Today, your regional team today is abbreviated. We've just got me and Charles Coleman, our regional tech trainer. So if we make any mistakes, you can email kelly.sutter@kennedy.com with the complaints. We're going to do some quick announcements, a tech update with Charles. We're going to talk agent and market center recognition. Cooper's going to do his monthly update. And then Aaron Simmons is going to speak about taking more listings now and who wouldn't want to do that. We're starting with some announcements. KW Cares is hosting Cares Month. I think it was Wednesday, was Mo Anderson's 89th birthday. And in honor of her 89th birthday, we're asking all market centers to raise $890. And you can go to donate.kwcares.org/cares-month to get to your market center's fundraising page. And some of our market centers have already started working on this. Some have not yet. So please give generously. I was in Edwards for Red Day, and there was a fire burning there locally, and we're concerned about this issue this year. So please remember, KW Cares is for times like these. The AI-powered agent. Hey, the AI-powered agent is our next big event. It's on Thursday, June 11th. It's at the Douglas County School District Legacy Campus. It's 9 to 3, includes lunch. The AI-powered agent is for any agent who recognizes that knowing AI is important going forward if you're going to be in real estate. It is not for advanced AI users. It is also, although we're going to talk about advanced topics, we're going to be talking about everything from what you need to know if you're just dipping your toe in, to how to create an AI agent to do work for you in a faster and easier way. So we're going to run a full course from soup to nuts on how to make your life more efficient using AI. Folks, now is not the time to put your head in the sand about AI. Now is the time to figure it out. So we chose to put this 6-hour experience together for you because of the importance of this topic right now in our industry and frankly in the world. Neil Dingra is our keynote. Neil is from the mortgage business and has become an expert in AI. He's really hard to get, hosts a big event in Vegas every year, and has thousands and thousands of people come. He's friends with Lauren Lucas, who is co-hosting the event, and he agreed to come to Colorado and share with us. He's got a powerful following of people who are interested in AI. And here's my ask. Friends at other companies should be coming to this event. I was on one of Neil's online events about a month ago, and he did that thing where he said, tell us in the chat where you're from. The number of people from Denver, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, Vail, Breckenridge, Grand Junction, Durango, the number of Coloradans who were on that Zoom class indicates how important this guy is in our industry at this time. These people were realtors, many of them, some of them are on this call. Lauren Lucas is coming also. She's the one of 3 people who have ever been interviewed twice by Jason Abrams for the MREA podcast. She was the guest 2 Mondays ago, a week ago, and she's got some really great AI strategies. If you heard her at Family Reunion and you think you get it, you still need to come because that's how quickly this topic is moving. Rocky Mountain Summit is coming up in September, and we've got a keynote we're announcing.
I want to get you to think deeply about what you truly want your life to look like. in this book and in the ideas I'm trying to share is to just wrestle with that tension.
We need to start celebrating an entirely different form of success.
All right, we're excited that Sahil Bloom is our keynote speaker. The reason we picked Sahil is Sahil does an amazing job of helping business people understand that there's more to life than just filling up your bank account. He's best-selling, New York Times best-selling author of The 5 Types of Wealth. He's going to talk about your health. He's going to talk about your relationships. He's going to talk about the things that help this life feel better. And we're excited that he's coming. Of course, Jay Papazan, Wendy Papazan, Lauren Lucas, AI, Jordan Freed, Brandon Green talking about wealth, David Voorhees talking about tech, Ruben Gonzalez is doing a market update for us. We've got a packed lineup for the summit. Early bird pricing ends July 20th. Charles and I do a market update, kind of like an industry overview every Monday at noon. It happens right after this call. It's called the Mile High Market Brief. You can see the replay on our YouTube channel, or you can just join us at milehighmarketbrief.com, and all of our events can have signups at k2bcoloradoevents.com. Amanda,
Yeah.
you're up.
Oh, it's having me send a request to share.
You are allowed.
All right. Okay, can you see my screen?
It is trying. Yep.
Okay, excellent. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Amanda Turk. I am one of your area managers for Choice Home Warranty Real Estate Division, chwpro.com. We also have Chan Vessel on the call this morning, one of our regional managers. We are here for you. So plug our numbers in your phone, call, text, email us. We are here to support your business. I always highlight chwpro.com because Choice Home Warranty has 2 different divisions. We have a direct-to-consumer division. So if you and your clients are searching online Choice Home Warranty, that is likely what you'll see. And while it's good coverage and will save you money, you also have access to the chwpro.com. So the luxury you have is the far better coverage. So it'll save you a lot more money, save your clients a lot more money. And it's a higher level of service because it comes along with Chan and I. So if they have questions, need assistance, they're not stuck on an 800 number. They can call or text us as well.
We have got, I'm right here in Golden, and we always answer our phones. And we both, between us, I don't know, have how many years of experience, probably, probably 50 in home warranty.
Yes. And so we want you to make sure that yes, for your buyers, yes, your sellers, yes, your own home and investment properties, yes, anyone in your database nationwide can get this pro coverage through you. You just want to make sure that you're ordering at chwpro.com or you're connecting them to Chan and myself to make sure they're getting this real estate pro coverage. And more specifically, you want our ultimate plan. Why? Well, Choice Home Warranty, we have in the real estate division 3 different level plans. HVAC, water heater, they're covered in all 3 levels, but as you go up each level, even more is covered. So you want to save the most money, you want the ultimate plan. For your buyers and sellers, this is a risk management tool for your business, for the transaction. So whether your seller's providing it or the buyer's getting it, you want to make sure they have the most protection on this transaction. You want the ultimate plan. It goes up to 5 years, so they can have coverage for years to come. We are the 2nd largest home warranty company in the nation. We are actively working our way to be the largest, most respected home warranty company in the nation. And it's with realtors like you. We gratefully appreciate your support and your orders. It is helping us grow and get there. We're also proud to be a preferred home warranty partner for your Colorado region, as well as Keller Williams on the national level. We also support many of your market centers. If we are not in your market center right now, be sure to reach out to either Chan or myself or have your leadership team reach out. We're happy to support you on that market center level as well. We're also very proud of our award-winning coverage. We were recently named USA Today's Most Trusted Brands. One of my favorite awards, however, is being named Best Home Warranty Company for HVAC. Why? I don't know if you've seen the repair costs and replacement costs recently on AC and furnaces, but it is expensive. So everything around us is getting more expensive. Yes, the economy. Yes, inflation. The EPA had a lot to do with this as well, though. So I don't know if you're familiar, but back in 2010, the EPA said no more R22 refrigerant for these systems. However, we'll give you a 10-year grace period that you can still make parts and you can still make repairs, but any new systems will be the R410A systems. Fast forward to January 1st of last year, 2025, the EPA said no more R410A refrigerant. You can install what you have in 2025, but you're not making parts for these. And so what we're seeing is that if you have the older refrigerants, maybe you only have an 8-year-old AC, it's the R410A. You need a minor repair like a new blower motor or a new capacitor, and you can't find that part because they're not making them anymore. You have to replace the entire AC system because it is not compatible with the new refrigerants, the R32 and the R454B. So this is huge for you to know for your buyers, your sellers, your own home and investment properties. Our ultimate plan is the only one that protects on that compatibility. So the mid plan, the basic plan, and our consumer product don't. So one more reason you always want the ultimate plan, and you want to review this with every buyer, every seller, every transaction, every time. When affordability is such an issue right now, they don't want to move in and find out that they have to replace the entire AC. And nationwide, we're seeing retail prices anywhere from $9,000 to $22,000. It's
Now in
expensive.
Colorado, it starts at 12,000 and goes up to 20,000.
Yes.
And it's inside and outside, just one component.
Yes. So the EPA didn't just change the refrigerant rules, they changed the risk profile of every resale home with an older HVAC system. And a home warranty is one of the simplest ways to manage that risk. When you look at the other risk factors in a home, like radon, lead-based paint, polybutylene piping, flood areas, look at the percentages of homes affected. For the radon, you're looking at 6 to 7 homes nationwide, or 6 to 7% of homes nationwide. For lead-based paint, you're looking at 29 to 35% of homes nationwide. Guess how many homes are affected by the old refrigerants? 98%. So this is huge. You need to know about it and be talking about it and protecting them with the ultimate plan. We are here. We have scripts for you. We have flyers that share this information. Call, text us. We're here to support you. And your listings, your buyers, previous customers, we can protect them all with this.
Oh, I love the previous customer because it's a great reason for you to reach out to your customers, one of your drip campaigns, and let them know that they can get a home warranty at any time. And we do, outside of the closing, 60 days outside the closing, send you guys a referral fee. And last thing that I wanted to mention,
They
Amanda,
just want
is
Colorado. What they want is they
Colorado is the second state in the nation that has changed the regulations on furnaces as well. The other one would be California. So what that means is parts are going to be made for those old furnaces anymore either. So that's going to affect the heating claims.
That's a
So
great
anyway,
point. And that ultimate plan will protect them for the furnaces as well.
All right.
Well,
Well,
thank
thank
you
you,
very
Chan.
much.
Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate you.
mhm.
All right. Let's Charles, can you fix those spotlights, please? And we want to thank all of our sponsors: Top Flight Home Loans, Growth Minded Talent Solutions, of course, Choice Signature Agent Services, and America's Preferred Home Warranty. You can see all of our training that is recorded on our YouTube channel at Kidderby, Colorado, Region 7. Charles, you've got an update.
All right, yes, guys. So check this out, Russ. If you'll hit that video, guys, what we have is we have Google Gemini in our tech stack. And so what I did this morning was went through and just wanted to showcase one of these tools that we have the ability to go through. And so what you're seeing on the left-hand side is I simply just put in the question, what are the top 3 news stories that I should be looking at as a real estate agent in Colorado? And Google Gemini is owned by Google. which is the largest search engine in the world. And so it links directly into Google and it is pulling the top news stories. Now, here's what's interesting. As we go through and we have this conversation, one of the important things to keep in mind is that when we're talking about Claude and we're talking about ChatGPT and we're talking about all these other products that are out there, Google and Gemini are the same company. And what we're seeing right now is we are seeing that Google is actually limiting the web crawlers that are able to go through and look at page two, look at page three, look at page four, with the exception of Gemini. And on your second carousel on the far right, what you're seeing is I said, awesome. Now take all four of the, or all three of those news stories and give me 45-second scripts that I can copy and paste. And those are the two prompts that I put in here. And this is what we need to be looking at, right? You have Gemini at no added cost inside of your tech stack. And now the way to access this would be this. Firstly, download the app. This is from your phone. So go in, whether you are a Apple user or a Android user, and go in and download the app. The second thing that you're going to do to be able to access this at no added cost is to be able to log in through your KW Gmail account, right? So you're at kw.com. That's how you're going to be able to access this. And it's going to go directly in. You're going to be able to do it all from your cell phone. You're going to be able to do the talking head video. You're going to be able to create social graphics. You can create your blog posts. You can do so much stuff with Google Gemini. And again, it's at no added cost. What you're paying your market center already for your tech stack, this is included. And this is something that we should all be looking at right now. Because just like what Russ said, right, we all need to be diving in and using AI at a higher level. And this is probably the bare minimum, just playing with it, getting the news stories, having some fun with it, doing some social, and then show up to the event because they're going to dive even deeper with some of the tools that we can be using to make sure that we're taking massive, massive mind share because we know that the market share follows. That's it. Thank you, Russ.
Charles, did you say a moment ago, you said it quickly, but I think you said that Gemini, unlike Chat and Claude, is not limited in the Google search as to how deep it can go, whereas those other AI LLMs can only really look at first page results. Did you say that?
I did say that. And what's even worse than that, Russ, is this, is that a lot of these other companies have realized that this is a limitation of theirs because Google has locked it down. Remember, Google owns Gemini and the largest search engine in the world. So what we're actually seeing right now is a lot of these other companies are going out and they're getting partnerships with Wikipedia. And they're reaching out to Wikipedia, which we all know that if you don't like something on a Wikipedia page, you can change it as a user.
Right.
And that's where they're actually going through and grabbing a lot of their data from right now. So Google, while we might be like, oh, I'm a ChatGPT or I like Claude, and I think they're all great products. I'm a super user of all of them. And Google Gemini is the only one that has free access to crawl every single page of Google, where these other LMMs don't at this point.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Thank you for that share. Okay. Whoops. We're going to do a little agent recognition, starting with individuals, closed units in fourth place with 6 units each tie. Dan Derman from Summit County, Jess Mondragon, Lydia Golesh, Rebecca Atencio, Ryan Davis, and Ryan Rose. In the fourth spot with 7 units each, Hussein Garcia, Isaiah Perez, and Lena Krylov from Denver Central. Top 3 individuals, closed units, Sheila Bailey, number 8, Faith Young, with 9 units, and number 2, and Jill Lacka, who I just saw on here, from Pueblo with 12 units. Congrats all. For volume, Emma Burns was in the 10th spot, Ryan Davis the 9th, Anna Steiner the 8th, Lena Krylov in the 7th spot. Number 6 was Stacy Strayer from Denver West. Number 5, Tim Wade from Denver West. Number 4, Dan Derman, Estes Park. And top 3, Lydia Golesh from DTC, Sheila Bailey from Denver West, and Daniel Egan, top spot from Client's Choice. Whoops. Moving on to GCI, Dan Derman was in the 10th spot, Emma Burns the 9th, Rebecca Atencio the 8th, Ryan Davis 7, I am sorry, folks. I'm having some clicking problems today. Okay. Number 6, Lena Krylov. Number 5, Anna Steiner. Number 4, Christy Watson from Denver North. Sheila Bailey was the third in GCI. Lydia Golesh, number 2, and Dan Egan from Client's Choice, number 1, with $235,112. Teams are 2 people in production. The Collective was in 5th place for closed units. Distinct Group in 4th for closed units. Number 3, the Deborah Jo Abeda team, tied with the Olive Branch team. Number 2, Van Westenberg Partners from Denver West. And the Grand Junction Group closed 8.47 units. Great job. For closed volume, the Olive Branch team was in number 10 spot. Your Denver Family Home team, number 9. The Quintera team, number 8. The Hoffman Group, number 7. The Grand Junction Group, number 6. The Deborah Jo Abeda team, number 5. Impact Properties, number 4. And our top 3 volume, Gill Orchard Homes, number 3. The Collective, number 2. And Allie Van Westenberg Partners, number 1. Congrats. For GCI, the Everest Group took the 10th spot, Hoffman Group the 9th, the Grand Junction Group the 8th, the Olive Branch team, number 7. Number 6 is the Quintera team from Client's Choice. Number 5, Gill Orchard Homes from Denver, Arvada. Number 4, the Deborah Jo Abeda team. And the top 3, Impact Properties Group, number 3. The Quintera team, number 2. And the Collective in Denver downtown, number 1. Great job. For groups, this is more than 2 people licensed. June's team took the 5th spot. Jamie Baker Orr team, the 4th. And Power Home team, number 3 with 27 units. Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group, number 2 with 35 units. And the Johnson team led the way with 36 closings. Volume, the Atha team, number 10. Jamie Baker Orr, number 9. The Dixon Group, number 8. Hudson Stonegate, number 7. Relevate, number 6. June's team, number 5. The Thayer Group, number 4. Number 3 was the Empower Home team, Colorado Front Range from DTC. Number 2, the Johnson team from downtown Colorado Springs. And number 1 with 25, almost 6 million in closing, Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group from DTC. GCI, the Phoenix was number 10. Hudson Stonegate, number 9. Relevate, number 8. The Dixon Group, number 7. The Thayer Group, number 6. Jamie Baker Orr, number 5. June's team, number 4. And the top 3 were the Johnson team at number 3. Empower Home team, Colorado Front Range, number 2. And Colorado Lifestyle Real Estate Group brought in $526,126. Wow. Expansion. The expansion reports were not updated with the change that they had in command. So we will not have April numbers, but we will update you in May. Fingers crossed. Congrats to all of our top performers. Cooper.
All righty. Thank you, Russ, and congratulations, everybody. It was a great month. And let's dive into some of the numbers. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about today is how sometimes headlines can mislead our consumers and our clients. And I want to show you, you probably saw this headline in the news in the past few weeks. Denver with the fastest falling home values in the country. How many people saw that in the news? I did. And you probably had clients ask you about it. People ask you about it in passing. I know that every time I mentioned, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a realtor. Oh, must be tough in Denver with the fastest falling home values in the nation. Oh, it was terrible. So that one report brought on a barrage of headlines that people saw. And one of the worst ones, Westward. Come on, guys. Own a home in Denver, it's probably losing value. That's just a fear-mongering headline. So all of this is really interesting. And what happened was the Cotality Case-Shiller Index cherry-picked 1 month, February of 2025, and they compared it to February of 2026. And it doesn't really tell you the whole story when you cherry pick 1 month. Now, there's me on the news, not very happy about talking about this, but what's more important to realize is what is actually happening with home values. And the reality is, if we look at April, we're still within a percent, right? They reported that it was down 2.2%. What that actually tells you is that last February was anomalously high, not that this February was particularly low. So one of the interesting things to look at is the long-term trend. Over the last 5 years, the Denver metro area, we are up still 15.2%. And that little blip that they're showing is the quote fastest home value decline in the nation. So, one of those interesting things to make sure we're staying on top of what is being said in the news, how it might be impacting our clients and our consumers' perception of the market, and making sure that we keep people informed with the entire picture, the real data, the real statistics, and the really meaningful things rather than just cherry picking 1 month year over year. So that was the headline last month. Let's redeem the media a little bit with some more accurate headlines this month. And that is that inflation, again, is at the top of the news cycle. Last month, the consumer price index came in at 3.8%. That means that year over year pricing was approximately 4% higher broadly than the year previous. Again, the Federal Reserve and the government's mandate is about 2%. That's what we like to see. And over the last 10 years, including the crazy inflation that we had from COVID and all the stimulus that went with that, we are averaging 3.2%. So this decade is quite a high inflation environment. And of course, we're seeing that reflect in mortgage rates. Let's do a quick reminder because I think it's always good to remind everybody how inflation impacts interest rates and then mortgage rates. So higher inflation expectations or actual higher inflation data means that investors in the market, we're talking about big institutional investors like pension funds and private equity, they want to see higher return on their fixed income securities like mortgage-backed securities. As a result, prices will fall because the demand will be less. If you can earn more money just putting your investments into the treasury and getting a higher return just on inflation, then investing in fixed income securities, that decreases demand. So prices fall. As a result, there's an inverse relationship. Yields rise for those securities, and then mortgage rates rise because of that. And very important to remember is that the Fed is not involved in this process. Yes, the Fed influences inflation with its open market operations and setting the overnight lending rate, but it does not have a direct impact on mortgage rates. So all of this happened in the past few weeks. We saw inflation numbers come in at 3.8% year over year. Mortgage rates, here's a chart of mortgage rates so far this year. It's not very pretty, but we are back above the 6.5% mark. In fact, I haven't checked it today yet, but we ended last week at about 6.65% for 30-year rates. Also, a little side note, we got a new Fed chair. So for those of us that want to blame everything on somebody, we have to have a scapegoat. Kevin Warsh is now your guy, is no longer Jerome Powell. So he is stepping into quite a difficult situation in that role. Not really the job that I would want to have right now with inflation at 3.2% and consumer confidence at quite low levels. So consumers are not happy right now. The blue line tells you what consumers are thinking is going to happen in the future. And the darker line is where consumers feel we are at right now with their confidence in the economy. And one interesting thing to note is that coming out of the Great Recession in 2009, the present situation index was below the expectations index, which is the economy basically saying, look, things are really bad now. We're coming out of a recession, but they're going to get better. And around 2014, we saw that inverse relation, trend invert. And today, it consistently is still inverted, where we have the sentiment that things are going to get worse before they get better. So how has this impacted the real estate market here in Colorado? Well, as of April, really has not impacted much. We've got two lines here. The green line is the pending sales monthly in the RE Colorado MLS. The orange line is the number of closed sales. I also threw the inflation CPI change figure on there as well. But what you'll notice, again, and I talked about this a lot last month, is that this corridor here of the last 3 to 4 years has remained really, really consistent. We haven't seen a change in the number of closed and pending sales. Well, why don't we see a change in the number of pending and closed sales, especially when interest rates are so volatile? I mean, we touched 6% at the beginning of the year and we're back up to 6.6%. The reason is the market mechanics are adjusting and compensating to those affordability pressures, not in the number of homes sold, rather in prices and in time on market. So I like to think of it more as the destination is almost predetermined. No matter what fluctuations, reasonable fluctuations happen in the economy, we're still going to see the same number of new listings come on the market every month, the same number of closed sales every month. But how we get there is different. It is the journey to getting to those closed listings rather than the destination. So here's how the journey's changed a little bit this year. Yes, the news was partially right that we have seen a flattening or a slight decline in prices. Would I call it broad depreciation of our assets? Probably not, given that we are up so much. But yes, if you purchased a home in May of 2022, you are not selling it today for what you purchased it for. Also, we've seen moderate increases in time on market. Over the past 4 years, it has been a consistent 5 to 10% increase in the median time on market for all listings. So overall, things are taking a little bit longer to sell and prices are declining a little bit, or at least flattening out. We're not seeing crazy 5 to 7% inflation or appreciation rates every single year like we have for the past 20 years. But it doesn't have to be that way. What's interesting is that sellers are still asking for a lot of money for their homes. And this is price discovery and price rejection in the market in action. Colorado is a pretty high price cut percentage state. And it wasn't always that way. I actually looked back. So this is data from April of this year, last month. I looked back at April of 2018 and 2019. We used to rank 40th in the country for price cut percentage. We were in the lowest 10% or 20% of states in terms of what percentage every month of our listings require a price reduction. Today we are second, behind only Arizona. And so I got thinking about this and it kind of begged the question why. And I was thinking, what other variables are correlated with price cut percentage besides price? And what I found was, and I'm going to tell you, you know that I am a super nerd because this is got me so excited this weekend to create this chart. I think this is the most beautiful chart ever. This shows you the correlation on the x-axis of inventory, surplus, or deficit. So it tells you as a percentage of the current inventory, or as a percentage of the long-term inventory trends for a given month, how much more or less do we have active on the market right now? Well, you can see Colorado's in the top 3 of US states, right? Behind only Washington and Tennessee, we have about a 65% surplus of inventory. Now, the interesting correlation is that on the y-axis, we have the price cut percentage, right? In a given month, in April, in this example, what percentage of listings had to have a price cut? And there is a very clear correlation. In fact, the difference of squares is about 62%. So about 62% of the variation between states in their price cut percentage can be explained by the level of surplus or deficit inventory. This is such a cool chart. I love it. And what it tells us right now is basically if for every 10% extra inventory or 10% less inventory than we have currently compared to our long-term baseline normal average numbers, about 1.6% more listings every month have to cut their prices. So what's really interesting about this is it kind of tells us the difference between the information that buyers are absorbing and the information that sellers are absorbing. And here's what I mean by that. How focused are sellers on the level of inventory in the market compared to buyers? Not very. I would say that most of my conversations, the level of inventory comes up way, way more when you're speaking with buyers. They're asking, when's a good time to buy? Oh, well, in April, we have the most active listings on the market. Things may be a little bit more competitive, but you have more choice. When you're talking to a seller, most of us probably aren't mentioning relative inventory as much. So what happens in practice in the market is that buyers are using this inventory information to pick and choose what homes they want to go see, what homes they want to offer on, what homes they want to purchase, and sellers aren't using it enough. So that leads me to one last idea here, which is one question that I feel every single listing agent needs to be asking themselves. This is critical. And it's this: do my sellers understand how different home attainability, financial affordability — I don't like to use the word affordable anymore, I use attainable — but affordability, attainability, how different it looks today than just, say, 7 years ago, right before COVID? Quick example I'm going to run you through because I'm running long. April 2019 versus April 2026. Median close price in the RE Colorado MLS was $405,000. Today, $565,000. Prices are up about 40%. That's awesome. Let's take a 20% down payment loan and look at what we're going to be paying monthly. Well, in 2019, the average 30-year fixed rate was about 3.3%. Today, last month, it was about 6.4%. So 3.1 points up. So the headlines are going to say housing costs went up about 40%. But what they don't factor in is this: the monthly payment at those new interest rates is double, literally double, for the same house just 7 years ago. Now let's factor in our property tax as well. We saw an increase in that. Obviously, they are ad valorem, so they go with property values, up also 40%. Insurance, we've seen spike up about 140%. And overall, when we blend everything together, our monthly PITI, that's excluding HOAs, which we know are also probably doubled to tripled in this time period, are up about 97%. Well, Cooper, isn't that just inflation? We've been talking about how inflation is up 3.2% per year in the last 10 years. No. Total inflation since April 2019 is about 30%. So even after adjusting for inflation, the monthly cost of purchasing the same home is up 51%. It's the same product, it's the same market, 51% higher real, meaning inflation adjusted monthly cost. And the other counter argument that you might say to this is, well, real wage growth is up, right? Aren't we making more money? No, inflation adjusted wage growth in the Denver metro area was basically flat. So real wages did not rise, monthly housing costs did. It is literally more expensive today to live relative to what we are making. So that's a little bit of a downer, but it's important for us to educate our sellers on this idea, because a lot of times sellers have the idea that, well, prices are up 40%, I can just get 40% more. But that is a narrow mindset that can trap you into the days on market cycle, the price reduction cycle, and for us as agents, the expiration cycle. So one piece of good news that I want to leave you with is, again, this incredible consistency of sold listings. No matter what's happening macroeconomically, 7,200 homes are going to exchange hands this month in the RE Colorado MLS. It's just going to happen. And it's about the same amount that we saw last year and the year before and the year before that. And it's going to be about $5 billion of real estate. It's going to be less homes than in 2019, but it will be over $1 billion more in volume. So for us as agents, we are okay, but we need to be incredibly strategic and purposeful in how we are educating and guiding our sellers, making sure they are avoiding and understanding the misleading news headlines, understanding the current inflationary environment that we find ourselves in, and understanding the competitive advantage that buyers have when there is more excess inventory or surplus inventory on the market. Thank you all so much. As always, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any ideas for content you'd like to see next month, shoot me a text or email. And You can download these slides. I will leave this up for a couple minutes here. You can download these slides by scanning the QR code on your screen or visiting cooperthayer.com/KWRR. I think I have everything since last August on there. So a lot of great content. You can scroll through those slides. You can share them with your clients. You can share them with your market centers. And hopefully you find some useful information in there. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next month.
All right, thank you, Cooper. So let's move quickly to Aaron. Aaron, Cooper, pull your slide, please. Aaron's going to be talking to us about listings. He's a MAPS coach. And Aaron, sorry, we're running behind schedule a little bit here today. Go for it.
All right. Well, first off, thanks for having me, guys. We will go fast. We will go furious. The bottom line is, after Cooper's presentation, we now need to find more sellers to actually present that great information to, which is what I want to talk to you guys about today. So with that said, it'll be a little fast, a little furious. However, what I want to share with you is really where our listings coming from. All right, enough about that. I trust that anything that we do talk about today, you guys will be compliant with Do Not Call TCPA. So top 3 listing lead sources. All right, database. It'd be criminal not to talk about that. Yet it's not so much how to touch the database. What I see a lot of agents getting wrong out there is the actual messaging behind the database. So we're going to talk about that today. Also, a professional referral network and why that's important. And last but not least, our favorite, golden letters. I was looking at my roster, my coaching roster so far, first quarter this year, over 500,000 GCI just from golden letters. All right, because who doesn't want more sellers calling you? So with that said, we'll jump straight into database referrals. Okay, like I said, we already know the methods. We know there's only 5 ways we can touch that database of ours. We can call or text them, we can email them, we can send them direct mail, we can be face-to-face, and we can be on social media. We all know those are the 5 methods. Yet let's talk about messaging real quick, because like I said, that's where I see a lot of agents getting it wrong. Not wrong, but not as impactful as it can be. So the question that I always ask as people are out there talking to their database is, who exactly are you trying to attract more of? So when you think about sellers, right? And you can take the same message for buyers, but we're talking about sellers. Exactly who are you looking for? Because if you don't define the type of seller you're looking for and what you're posting out there or talking about is vague, they don't know you're a resource for them. They don't know to reach out to you, right? If you show up at a restaurant and you ask for food, they don't know what to bring you. So we're going to talk about that. And then once we figure out that avatar, the question becomes, right, what information, what questions should we be answering for them such that they're proactively reaching out to us? Now, before I move the slide, here's one thing that I know about your market because it's consistent with the rest of the market in North America. I promise you, 75% of the listings out there is going to fall into one of 3 categories. It's either going to be a boomer downsizing, a senior transitioning, or a family inheriting property. I promise you, if you want to challenge me on it, great, let's go. However, you got to trust me, right? Biology is not on our side. We know, right, that is the biggest demographic. There's been a million slides about it just recently, yet this trend has been happening for the last 12 to 15 years. And keep in mind, a boomer and downsizing is not just I'm selling big house, buying small house. They're selling off rental properties they no longer need, right? They're buying, they're selling and buying second homes. They're actually not downsizing at all, but they're buying a single story next to the pickleball courts that's even nicer than the 2-story family home that they're selling, right? So it's not just sell big, buy small. It's a whole host of things. When we think about seniors transitioning, it's not just what do we do with mom, right? What facility do we stick her in? For a lot of it, it's multi-generational. It's, hey, kids own a house, mom owns a house. Let's sell both of them, buy a bigger house that mom can age in place such that when she passes, we've got a nice family home, right, for the next generation. So it doesn't always look as clean as what it might sound, yet when you boil it down, that's the biggest demographic. It's 75% of listings. Boomer downsizing, senior transitioning, family inheriting property. So if that's who you want to attract, right? If that's who we know is out there, then what questions, what information can we be providing for them? And that just becomes simple brainstorming, right? If we just look at boomers downsizing, What do they need help with, right? Getting rid of stuff primarily, right? Knowing where do we move to, right? Capital gains, estate plannings, if they're buying second homes, right? It's just a simple brainstorm session. I'll make sure you guys have the slides since we're limited on time. I won't go through all of it. But then you do the same thing with seniors transitioning, right? What do they need to know about it? How to have the conversation, how to get rid of stuff, common theme, right? And then of course, families inheriting property. What questions, what information can we be providing such that if they see us out there, they know we are a resource. Yet all too often, what I see you guys doing with your database is vague. Just listed, just sold, here's where I ranked. That's not going to cause people to reach out to you, right? If you want people to reach out to you, you have to put information that speaks to them such that they know you're a resource, such as the fact that you posted about someone inheriting a property caused them to call you because they're dealing with the same thing in their life and they now want to pick your brain. All right. So database messaging is number one in where can we find more listings? Be more specific on who you're looking for, and then put that information out there in addition to the just listed, the just sold, the whatever. Put out the specific information that will help those people through the process. All right, moving on. So, professional referrals. I already stated the fact that 75% of listings are coming from boomers downsizing, seniors transitioning, families inheriting property, right? Again, biology is not on our side. Who are the other professionals that know about those opportunities before we do? Estate planning attorneys, CPAs, financial planners. They are out there on the front lines. Think about it. I'm a boomer downsizing. I go back to Cooper's chart on price appreciation over the last 25 years. What's the first question I'm going to have that I might call my CPA before I call you? I want to know how much am I going to be paying in capital gain taxes if I sell my house, right? Hey, that family's inheriting property. Who knows about it before you do? The estate planning attorneys. Okay, mom's transitioning. By the way, how much? Well, into a senior care facility, which by the way, cost how much on average? $8,000 a month. How's mom going to pay for it? Right? That first call is not to us, it's to the financial planner saying, hey, we think mom has this much equity in her house. If we sell it and give it to you, will that cover her cost of care? They're on the front lines, right? Divorce attorney is always great. Again, stats aren't on our side, 50% of people. And then of course, any other Ds, bankruptcy, etc. Yet when we understand that there are other professionals out there that know about opportunities before we do, why would we not want to put together a database of these professionals, get in relationship with them such that we now can be receiving referrals from these great professionals? How do we do it? Well, think about it this way. A lot of you guys probably have geographic farms. Well, think of this like a business farm. Who else, when you look at your geographic area, if I Google estate planning attorney in, not just Denver, that'll give you everywhere, but wherever you are in Colorado, whatever your specific community is, it'll show you a map of all those professionals, right? Make a list. Who are all the estate planning attorneys? Who are the financial planners? Who are all the CPAs that are in my geographic area? Start with that. And you should be in relationship with all of them, right? I'm going to share you a simple email that we can send them, right? And we can then talk about follow-up in a minute. But let me show you how simple this email is, okay? And by the way, why do I start with email? Because it's the path of least resistance, right? If you want to call them, if you want to stop by their office, go for it. Yet I know I can get more of you to send an email than I can anything else. But this is what the email is going to look like. And I'm going to prove to you why this email is true for every single one of you in just a minute. We're going to send them an email, right? Estate planning attorney needed. Hi, attorney. I've been selling real estate here in this area for umpteen years. Or if you're newer to the business, I specialize selling real estate here in your neighborhood. I've had a lot of clients reaching out recently with estate planning needs, and I'm looking to connect with a great attorney to refer them to. Are you taking on new clients, and can we set up a time to chat? What you guys and gals need to understand is that this email converts at 3 to 1. If you send 3 of them, 1 will respond back and say, yes, let's meet. Now, some of you are stuck on the fact that maybe I don't have clients reaching out with estate planning needs. Wrong. You certainly do. Anybody sell a house recently? Right? Well, might it be a good idea for the buyers of that house that you sold them, in addition, of course, to having homeowners insurance, wouldn't it be nice if they establish a trust to protect the asset you just sold them? So therefore, did you pick up the phone and refer them to an estate planning attorney? Okay, if you did, here's some participation. If you've done that in the last 30 days, I'd love to see it in the chat. A lot of you probably didn't, right? Anybody meet with the seller and you're looking at when they bought the home, what it's now worth, and you did your own calculation on the fact that, oof, they should probably be talking to a CPA about it, right? Financial planner, well, why do they need a financial planner, right? You just sold them a really expensive asset. Okay, fine. But I referred them to an attorney. They have a trust. Trust doesn't mean they can actually afford the asset they just inherited, right? Maybe they need life insurance such that if their partner passes, they can actually afford to keep the house that you just sold them. So when you think about it, we as real estate agents, we have 1000% a need to be in relationship with these professionals based off what we're doing in our own business. Does that make sense? I'm going to argue it would be malpractice to not be in relationship with estate planning attorneys, financial planners, CPAs, given the situations that we're coming across every single day in our business. So if anyone has any challenges with this email not being accurate, again, bring it on, right? I promise you, malpractice if we're not in relationship and not connecting these referrals, right? Well, maybe they already have a real estate agent they refer business to. Well, I've had the benefit of 22 years of calling executors on estates, right? And here's what I learned. Only 30% of the time does an attorney actually refer their client to a real estate agent. Believe it or not, 70% of the time, they leave them to fend for themselves. Oh, well, how can that be? Well, look at you guys. You guys didn't refer your clients to these professionals, not because you're doing anything wrong, but you have your heads down focused on real estate. Those attorneys, they've got their heads down focused on their attorney work. CPAs, financial planners, same thing. The problem that's happening is we're just not in relationship talking to each other on a regular basis. What does best practice look like talking to each other? Picking up the phone once a month and asking them, hey, what new case or client are you working on that has a real estate need I can help with, right? Sending that email once a month as well. So reaching out to them twice a month to see who's in front of them that we should be talking to. That's the frequency that it has to be happening at, right? Okay, last but not least, I told you it's going to be fast and furious, but I'll give you an option to go deeper here in a minute. Golden letters, right? Many of you have already heard it, but you're going to hear it again. In every neighborhood, we know there are people that are thinking about selling that are not yet on the market. The cool thing about this letter, it's not a marketing piece, it's an intimate letter addressed from you to them directly. That's why, on average, 1% response rate. 1% response rate, well, what does that look like? Check this out. Okay, path is in the math. If you sent 125 letters a week, and I'll show you the letter in a minute, 25 a day, 25 a day, that's 500 letters sent. Average cost, now that postage is God knows how much, $1. So you're going to spend 500 bucks a month. Oh, sounds expensive. Just wait. Okay, but those 500 letters with a 1% on average response rate, that's 5 inbound seller responses. Quick, do the math. How much should each seller cost you? 100 bucks. In your markets, how much is Zillow going to sell that lead to you? Well, I'm in San Diego. It cost me $1,800 to buy that lead. Probably close to it for you guys. Okay, so those 5 seller response, maybe we get 2, if we're lucky, 3 appointments from it. Those 2 to 3 appointments, probably going to be 1, maybe 2 listings. Okay, I did the national average, and your market's probably much higher, but you just spent 500 bucks to net 7,500, 14 to 1 ROI. The math works. Best part about it, we didn't call them, they called us. They called us. Okay, Aaron, what's this miracle letter look like? It looks like this, right? Simple letter. Dear homeowner, right? And use their name. We do a little mail merge, right? Google it if you don't know how to. Would you be interested in selling your home at 123 Main Street to a client of mine? Question mark. If so, please call me. You put your cell phone in there or whatever number you receive your leads at. Thank you. You sign it. It goes into a simple envelope, right? Hand address it, or you can even use labels, right? If you want to use labels, I've been practicing with labels. You get almost the same response rate, right? And you save about half the time. A real stamp, and off it goes. It takes 15 minutes a day to do 25 of those. But again, we go back to the math. 25 letters a day is 125 a week, which is 500 a month, which is on average 5 inbound sellers calling you, which turns into 2 to 3 appointments, which potentially, at the very least, 1 listing, maybe 2. Who doesn't want to do that? You mean all I have to do is print and sign and send? Yes, It doesn't get any easier than that. All right. I'm respectful of time. My partner, my training partner, Emily, we teach a class called Take More Listings Now. We actually launched last week, but Russ, don't fret. They're not, everything's recorded. They missed being the economist of choice, but Cooper took care of that for you guys. We this Wednesday dive right back into golden letters. We go deeper on database, we go deeper on referral network, we go deeper on prospecting, not the way you think, right? Such that you have a complete practical, tactical takeaway system to launch and be successful. All right, Russ, how did I do in that abbreviated time?
You did awesome. Charles is asking which strategy are you leaning into most?
Golden letter and referral network. Those are the well, I right answer, database, of course. However, right, knowing that your database is probably perfect, then it's golden letter is the easiest, followed by referral network.
Awesome. Great.
All right.
All right. So they can join your program. They just miss what we already covered and we already know each month because of Cooper's participation in these regional rallies. And they can jump on tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yeah, love to have them. QR link will take you there.
All right, perfect. Aaron, thank you so much for giving your time to us today.
Thank you, guys.
All right, everyone else, we are back on June 15th for the next regional rally. And don't forget that AI Summit is coming up June 11th. See you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.